Good evening, it's Nico Horning in sports. 16 teams remain in March Madness, and maybe your brackets are holding strong. However, Syracuse basketball is already experiencing turmoil after a 14-19 season and a 14th place finish in the ACC. 4 players have already announced they've entered the NCAA transfer portal, including Chris Bell, Elijah Moore, Kyle Cuff Jr., and Chance Westry. Syracuse junior Chris Bell entering the NCAA transfer portal. The wing averaged just over 9 points a game last season after a 35% mark from behind the arc. He was one of the ACC's best three-point shooters a year ago, and you might remember his 8 three-point first half against NC State last year. But SU is going to miss a knockdown outside shooter. They're also going to miss Elijah Moore, a freshman entering the portal as well. The guard averaged north of 5 points in his rookie year and started 16 of 26 games when J.J. Starling suffered an injury, but Moore sat out the last 7 contests of the year after a solid start to the season with a season-high 24 points. Well, let's go to March Madness for a couple of teams that are actually in the NCAA men's tournament. That is number 2 St. John's and number 10 Arkansas in the second round of the tournament. And former SU guard Kaderi Richardman thought he went straight up, but fouls out with 6 minutes left in the game. And I'll let you at home decide this one if he fully had both arms straight up, but he finished with 5 points and 4 rebounds in 16 minutes. St. John's down 4, and a big slam by Ruben Prey. The Red Storm get the dunk there, and it's a 2-point game. Billy Richmond stops and pops. Arkansas closes things out and upsets St. John's in Providence. John Calipari returns to the Sweet 16 with Kentucky, but they're not together. All right, and there's never really enough hoops in March, but when you're Syracuse nowadays, the attention turns to the field and 10th-ranked SU men's lacrosse. The Cuse matched up with 18th-ranked Colgate. The Orange have won 3 straight games and are in search of their third win against a ranked opponent this season. Joey Spallina also in search of a career point number 200 against Colgate with Owen Hiltz as well. Scoreless first quarter against Manhattan. Syracuse looking for a stronger start today. They got it from Trey Deer. He backed up his performance against the Jaspers with another career-high 4-score outing. 2 minutes later, Spallina to Hiltz. There's the 200th. Both of them joined the 200-point club on the same goal. And Syracuse up 5-1. Luke Roa says, "Give me that." Yes, sir. Syracuse shuts out Colgate in the second quarter to make it an 8-2 lead at halftime. Spallina to Sam English. A little behind the back action. Syracuse offense rolling here today. Joey Spallina at X, spinning, dodging, and scoring. Syracuse beats Colgate 16-12 for its 4th straight victory. Spallina had an incredible day, records the most SU points in a game with 11 since Casey Powell's 13-point performance against Virginia back in 1997. And speaking of UVA, that's who Syracuse will take on to begin ACC play next Saturday. Syracuse football is in the midst of the offseason, and today was the first day of spring practice. But the biggest question mark heading into the season will be who gets the start at quarterback for the Orange after Kyle McCord has entered the NFL draft. Well, one option potentially could be LSU transfer Ricky Collins, who gave SU fans a glimpse of what could be to come next season. He's got 3 years of eligibility left after 2 seasons with the Tigers. Collins also competing with Michael Johnson Jr. and Jakari Williams for the QB1 spot. So, Ricky, how does your skill set vary from Kyle McCord?
Different from Kyle. I mean, I can run a little bit. I can also pass the ball. I mean, just a different element of the game that Kyle, he extended plays as well, but I feel like I do different things. I run the ball. It may be more quarterback runs. It may be more extended plays. We have a lot of good players in the room, and we all compete every day. So just competing, and that's all I can do.
Well, Syracuse head coach Fran Brown doesn't want his 3 quarterbacks to compete all summer long and expects the front runner to be decided here in the next few weeks. Also of note, wide receiver Zeed Haynes has retired from football. The former Georgia receiver followed Coach Brown to Syracuse, but he's still taking classes and focusing on academics at Syracuse. On the ice, Cornell hockey matched up with Clarkson in the AC Hockey Championship. There's longtime head coach Mike Schaefer, who's set to retire after his 30th season with the Big Red, 15 NCAA tournament appearances, and a trip to the 2003 Frozen Four. Current Clarkson head coach Casey Jones, who was a former Big Red captain, is also set to take over his position. And Cornell, yes, they did defeat Clarkson 3-1, raise the trophy. They'll take on top seed of Michigan State in Thursday's Toledo Regional semifinal in the NCAA tournament.
There's a lot of action in sports, but let's focus a little bit more on the one that the majority of sports fans got their eyes on right now, and that's March Madness. How badly did the St. John's loss upset your bracket?
You know what? I had Texas Tech actually beating St. John's in the Sweet 16 that would have been. So I was all right with the St. John's early exit. My bracket's still holding strong with Duke and Florida and Auburn. All the teams are pretty much still in it. Not too many upsets this year.
You know, I wish I could relate that the Red Storm had an earlier exit. I had them as one of my Final Four teams, so I'm suffering a little bit on my bracket, at least for the men's side.
Maddie, it's all right.
Women's side's still going strong, so we're okay there.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Nico. We appreciate all of your coverage across the Salt City. Stick around, one more break coming up, and then we'll have sports right on the other side.